Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you my latest pirate mock that has been created in order to participate to a pirate contest hosted over on BrickNerd. You will find the link down in the description below if you want to check it out. For this contest we were not allowed to use human figure, so for the crew we had to go with some sort of animal or minifigure costume kind of things. So here is when I get the idea for my pirate ship and my crew of animals. That is exactly where I started with this build. So the first thing I did was create the figures. And the first one I created, it is I think the most funny one. So we have this ship in a sort of standing position with his sword up in the sky, shouting something at the sea. So I think after I created this one, using those one by one eyes, sort of briquettes kind of thing, I decided to expand the crew with something similar to this one. The second one I created was actually a sitting one. So this will be sitting up on top of the ship. Initially, I had this one drinking from a bottle. I think it was also working quite well. But then I decided to get everyone with a sword. The third one has a different stand and a different headgear, and is more like a walking kind of minifigure. So here we have again holding one sword. This one is walking around, and I use also a different printed tile for the mouth. The last one is the captain of this ship, which is actually on a sort of halfway standing, halfway walking stand. He actually has his sword on the side of the body and is looking through this binocular towards the sea. These are not actually the only animals that I have here. I also decided to add one dog. Unfortunately, this one that I just ordered is a little bit too, it's very small compared to the scale of the ship, but I thought it was funny considering that the ship dog always go around, keep them in order and protect the ship. This one is actually in a position of trouble on this ship. I also wanted to add a shark at the bottom that usually go always with this set, but I couldn't fit a big shark coming out of the water unless I create a big brick build structure underneath. So I decided to go with something like this. So I use only the mouth of the shark and then I brick build the rest so that it looks like it's coming off the water. But now let's start to talk about the pirate ship itself. So I never built a big ship, a pirate ship in particular before, so I decided to go with a little bit more cartoonish style for this. That's also because it's very part intensive, and as you know my collection is not that big yet. So here on the side I use some snot technique and I just use some tiles to build up the side of the ship, and then I use slope to try to make a nice transition over here. Of course this is not great, even if the angles work quite okay, but if I could have a little bit longer kind of slopes, then this would be a little bit better, a little bit smoother, but I was working with what I had available in my collection. I added one of these here on top, so this is where we will have the dog then in danger to fall into the mouth of the shark. And also here I add the cannons with a little bit of sort of opening feature here to open for shooting the cannons. And here I use the same cannon shooting technique that I use in my Lego Pirates minifigure on parade. Anyway, this is how I build this. I use this technique in a few places, so I use some tiles in between plates to create a little bit of sort of fencing. Inside I have a more tan and dark tan color scheme with a little bit of random details, as well as some barrels going around to add a little bit of decoration. At the front here I came up a little bit. I added some sort of detail at the front to make it a little bit more interesting. I was not inspired by anything in particular, but I just built with what I found. If we turn this around, I can show you how is the structure actually, because on this side I didn't actually build it like the front, because it would require a lot of parts, and I think it was not worth it since only the first picture will be judged for this contest. So as you can see, I had some of these based for the ship. You can see also here at the back, and then from there I build up, and I added some support and some plates inside for the inside base of the ship. Of course, over here is all better finish. Here I had to work a little bit on some angles. Let's see if I can maybe open up a little bit something here and show you a little bit how it's done. So over here we have some modified brick, some snot bricks that get this out a little bit for these three, while this one is a little bit more tricky because I had to build it on an angle. So you can see here the modified brick, and here we have some more, but this one has to be tilted a little bit so that it aligns with the rest. It worked fairly well up till here. Not very happy about this because the gap is a little bit too big, but here I use the same technique as I did over there. Now I also try to create something at the back. Here we have a sort of door to the underneath, to the belly of the ship, some stairs going up, and then over here I try to create a sort of steering wheel for the ship. At the center here I had to create the mast of this pirate ship, and here is where I build it up, and I added some container over here. Now let me switch the camera point so I can show you also how is the top. So over here I wanted to create a big sail. I decided to go with something with the wind coming from behind, so with a big curve. At the back I added a little bit of these ball joints to give the right angle, and I use these 2x2 half tiles to create the effect as in some points it's connected on top and bottom. A cool thing about this sail is actually the sort of logo that I wanted to add in the center. So I wanted to resemble the ship, so I added two small black legs. I use this particular tile that is actually part of my logo, of the Break Dreamer logo. Added a couple of eyes, added a pirate hat, and I think this cloud piece worked pretty well. Anyway, on top I added a container upside down with one of these fairly new rounded plates from the Super Mario series with a flag on top, and there we have one of our ship checking what's coming from far away in this sea. I hope you like this MOC. It was pretty fun to build, even if I didn't spend much time in all of the details like I need in other MOCs. But it was pretty fun, and it was a new experience for me to build something in this style. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao, ciao!